Hi, I'm back. So yes, hi. It's been a very long time since I've spoken to you. Yeah, I don't really know why. I guess things just got really busy, and yeah, I just didn't get time to record a podcast, and yeah, I just sort of let it go. And then I thought, because it had been such a long time, that I would just wrap it up and leave it as it is. And then over the last month or two, I've had quite a few people subscribing to the YouTube channel. And yeah, it was really strange because I thought, well, there's no more episodes. It hasn't been active for a long time. So yeah, I just thought, well, maybe people are interested in watching. So I just thought I would start podcasting again. I don't think I will be putting out episodes every week or every 2 weeks, just whenever I can. It seems to work better that way, so it's not going to be a regular schedule. But anyway, let's just take it from here and let's see where it goes. So yeah, I thought also what I should do is probably introduce myself, because the first podcast which I did talk about myself and how I started knitting, that's no longer out there. I was actually on a podcast, what do you call it, where they host your episodes, and then I stopped subscribing because YouTube came out and it was free, so I just sort of left it, and then all my videos were deleted. I do have them on my laptop, but to actually upload them to Instagram I'd have to reformat it and it would be an absolute nightmare, so I just haven't bothered. But anyway, my name is Kristen, like I said at the beginning, and I am the dyer behind Skein Studio. I run the business with my husband Paul. He is not a fan of social media, so he doesn't appear in any pictures. I might be able to sneak a picture in maybe down the track, but yeah, he just doesn't really go for the whole social media thing, which is fair enough. But he, if you've ever bought yarn from us, he's the one who packs all the yarns. Any sort of order inquiries he responds to. He's great. He's so supportive, and he has helped me out so much with the business. He was previously a web designer, so that's come in super handy. He does lots of work on the website. He is also a freelancing academic. He's doing sort of two jobs at once at the moment. He's writing a book chapter for Oxford University, which is just a huge thing for him. So he's been doing that as well as a business. So yeah, we've been very busy. And actually he's there at the studio today. He's actually Easter Friday. So he's actually at the studio writing his book chapter. He's almost finished, so that's good. So I started the business in 2010, so we've had Skein for a very long time. Paul sort of joined maybe 3 years after I started the business. It was getting to the point where it was just too much for me, so I needed a hand, and at that time he was looking for a change, just something different. He was actually working at a university, and it wasn't a very good environment there. Not that he had any problems, but there was factions, like two factions, and it was really nasty and messy, so he wanted a break from that, so he came and worked for Skein. And since then, yeah, he's continued on. He does, like I said, freelancing work, and helps me out with the business. So yes, so it's been going, Skein has been going for a long time, and I love it. If there comes a day where I have to shut up shop, I would be so upset. knitting and dyeing yarn are just my two loves. I live and breathe it, and that's a good thing, but it can also be a little bit of a bad thing because I do burn out sometimes. But yes, what was I going to say? So that's the business side. The knitting side, I came into knitting when I was probably about 10. My grandmother was a knitter, and I think I just saw her knitting and got interested. And one school holidays, I asked my mum if she could teach me how to knit. And mum does knit, but not very often. She can cast on, cast off, knit and purl, which is pretty much all you need to do. So she sort of taught me the basics, and yeah, I just sort of took it from there and sort of knitted on and off throughout primary school. And then I started high school, and of course knitting was put aside. You know, there was lots of other things to do when you're a teenager. So yeah, and then when I met Paul, and this is going into when I was early 20s, we met and moved in together. We actually moved down to Ostomy, which is a beautiful place south of Sydney, and which is still, it's coastal, so it's sort of still warmish, but it can get quite cool down there. Anyway, he got a job and a posting for a PhD position in Armidale. So we moved from there to Armidale. Armidale is up on the ranges, Great Dividing Range in New South Wales, and it is so cold in winter. So the first year we were there, it was very cold. I was away from family and friends, and I was feeling a little bit, I don't know, maybe a bit down, a little bit, I mean, I was enjoying living there, but it was just such a big move. So I just got this sudden compulsion to cast on. I think both, yeah, being a little bit lonely and being cold just sort of made me want to pick up knitting again. And I pretty much picked it up. I think I bought a book on how to knit, but I could remember, it was like riding a bike. I could actually remember how to knit and purl and cast on. And yeah, and then from there on, and that was probably 2000 and, I don't know, 8 or 7, I can't remember when we moved there, but yeah, and I haven't stopped since. I've completely dived into knitting and I love it. It's calming, and I find it therapeutic. I sit there and I do watch podcasts, but sometimes I just like to sit in silence and just sort of watch what I'm doing with my hands and kind of let my mind wander. And yeah, and I've met some wonderful people. It's just such a wonderful hobby and lifestyle and community. So I'm just so glad that, well, it changed my life, because without knitting I wouldn't have started Skein, I wouldn't have a small business. Yeah, so it's quite amazing. So anyway, that's who I am and my knitting history. So what else was I going to talk about? Knitting, my knitting projects. So I don't even know what I've finished since the last podcast. Quite a lot of things. I've started doing a bit of designing again, which is quite exciting. I always like the designing side of things. I like the not only the creativity of it, but also the sort of the way that you have to use your brain to sort of fix problems. Like you might want to do a certain shape, and then how are you going to do that, and how are you going to incorporate this and that. I love that sort of thing. I love sitting down and number crunching as well, which is really odd. But yeah, so that's been exciting, and I have actually started a new shawl with some, oh, and the other thing that's happened recently is we've started to introduce completely new colorways into the shop, which is really fun. I've had, like I said, I've had the business for almost 10 years now, and a lot of the colors I've been dyeing them for 10 years. And I do add new colors every now and again, but I just needed to have a complete change. So I ousted all of our colors and I started again. And at the time I thought it was a great idea, and it is a good idea. It's been fun, but it's been a lot of work. But anyway, so I've started a new design with one of my new colorways, which is called Cotton Wood. And I'll show you the yarn cake. That's what it looks like caked up. It's very pale color, but it has pops of apricot and pink and yellow and blue. It's just one of those colors that I can never photograph properly. It just always kind of looks a bit washed out, and I don't know, it kind of looks like it's just brown and orange, but there's so much more going on in there. So this is our Voyage DK, which I absolutely love. It's a responsibly sourced yarn. So this is, I believe, is a new merino, which is, if you look it up online, it's new, N-E-W, merino, all one word. And it's a company that ethically sources wool from Australia from farms that don't mules their sheep. I'm not going to go into mulesing, but if you don't know what that is, Google it. If you have a bit of a weak stomach and you're sensitive to, I wouldn't say it's animal cruelty, it is, but it's not. It's actually helping the sheep. Anyway, I don't want to go into it because it's a huge topic. Just maybe Google it if you're interested, or if you don't want to see pictures of sheep being hurt, then don't Google it. But anyway, this company has been started up. I think it's mainly because of the fashion industry and PETA. They are big on non-mulesing, which is fair enough, and I always get people emailing me about, is your yarn, of course, because we're Australian, is your yarn mulesed? I have actually started only sourcing yarn from non-mulesed companies or sources. So, and this is one of them. This is the first one that I found. And this DK is so beautiful to work with. It's just, I would say it's bordering on worsted, although I do have a worsted, I have a worsted as well. I wouldn't say this was worsted, but it is quite a thick yarn when you knit it up. It's very, very cushy. It's 4 plies, and yeah, it's soft. But it softens up even more when you wash it. It's just gorgeous. I love working with it. Anyway, this is the new shawl. I haven't got much done at the moment. It's going to be a crescent-shaped, sort of elongated design. And it's very, very simple. It's just garter stitch, and then I'm going to put a simple border on it. I've already written the pattern. I've done the chart for the border. So I'm actually just test knitting this myself to make sure it all goes together okay. And I was a little bit worried because, of course, with DK, when you're knitting shawls, your yarn runs out a lot quicker. So I dyed up 3 skeins of cotton wood. I keep wanting to say cotton wool. Cotton wood. Is that right? Yes. Hoping that would be enough. I really am hoping that I'll only need 2 skeins, but I might need 3. We shall see. Anyway, this is how it's knitting up at the moment. obviously when I block it out, the garter will stretch and it'll sort of widen out a little bit. But yeah, that's that. I've also been doing quite a few socks with commercial yarns. I know if you've been watching this podcast for a while, you'll know how much I love commercial yarn for socks. It's just, I really like buying the self-patterning yarn. I do love, obviously, indie dyed self-striping, and I have tried to do the self-striping myself, and it is so much work. I decided not to pursue the self-striping yarn because it's just so time consuming, and my hat comes off to all those dyers who do it, and I would happily pay more for that yarn because I know how much work goes into it. And I do knit socks with that, but every now and again I do like to knit using these commercial yarns. And I bought this one from Morris and Sons in Sydney. I don't have the tag. It's an opal sock. I don't know the name of it, but it's, as you can see, like it's sort of faux Fair Isle pattern, and it has these autumnal sort of reds and oranges and a little bit of blue and just white with this. This looks black, but it's actually really dark brown. And I've only just cast on. I just knit a pair of socks for Paul out of the opal, this one, which is the opal Van Gogh limited edition colorway. And yeah, these were so much fun to knit, and I actually posted a picture of these on Instagram, and I got a lot of people saying how much they liked them. You can actually still find the Van Gogh colorways online. You just got to search for them. But yeah, I think I bought about 3 or 4 different skeins of these when they came out. I bought this one, which is like the sunflower version. I bought a purpley coloured one too, which I can't remember which one that was. And then this one as well. But anyway, they're lots of fun. And they're very, very sturdy socks. I mean, they're not soft at all. Oh, well, I suppose they are soft, but they wear really well. So that's my socks. What else? Oh no, I'll do that later. I started another cowl. I've had this major hockey Locateli cast on. I just love her patterns, as you know if you've been watching this for a long time. She put out a pattern recently, which was the Odyssey Shawl, and I absolutely love that pattern. I've knit 2, and they're DK shawls, and they just flew off the needles. I knit one for myself, and then I knit one for my mum. And then what else have I done with hers? Oh, I've done the interpretations. Oh God, what was it called? Anyway, I'll come back to it because I finished it. It's the boxy V-neck, and the name just escapes me. But I also have just cast on for the Hipster shawl, which I've had my eye on for a very long time. And this uses worsted. And I recently dyed up some worsted yarn in a tealy colour, our new colourway called Neptune, and I just fell for this colour instantly. It's just so lovely. It's got the highlights of the teal and blues that come out, and then the kind of dark, very, very dark teal and black. It's sort of, it's not speckled, but it's sort of, I don't even know how you describe it, sort of dappled. It doesn't pull. I was a little bit concerned that it would pull. It didn't look like it in the skeins. Normally when you pull a skein out, you can see if there's like big clumps of colour over the skein, you know that it's going to at least pull a little bit. But these weren't like that. It was sort of all randomly covered in colour. But I just wasn't sure. Anyway, I started knitting it and it's knitting up beautifully. So this is it here. I'll just make sure I've got the right side. Yes, it's the right side. So it's very cushy. This is another one of the new merino wools that we've gotten in. So this is the worsted weight. And again, it's... No, this one's 3-ply. The DK is 4-ply. And this one... the DK is quite a structured sort of yarn because it's got the 4-plies. It's quite thick and it's got more sort of, yeah, structure in it. This one's a lot softer. It's sort of, it's going to drape really nicely. So yeah, and it has, as you can see on the, when I showed you the picture, it has these crisscrossy texture patterns, texture sections, as well as the garter stitch. Kind of, when I first saw it, I thought it sort of looked a bit like a basket weave. But it's really interesting how you do it. It's basically lots of yarn overs and then you cross the yarn overs over. It's quite a cool little pattern. So yeah, I did all of this in, this was all done in one night. So it's going to be a really, really quick shawl. So that's a Hipster by Hockey. And the last thing that I have on my needles is the Soldotna crop by Cailin Hunter. This is the picture of the design. I haven't done a whole heap of Colorwork projects. Don't know why. I think maybe I do like knitting that's very relaxing and I don't have to think too much about it. Although in saying that, I do like lace, but I find my brain sort of picks lace up very easily. Cables, on the other hand, I don't know what it is about cables, but I find even reading the charts, I find it really difficult and I have to really pay attention to what I'm doing. Lace I'm not too bad at. Colorwork is something that I have to pay attention to as well. But I mean, it's easy in the sense that you're just following a chart. You just got to make sure that you're knitting with the right colour. And most of the time, once you've got a pattern established, you can just look down at your knitting and see what colour comes next. But it still requires my attention, probably because I haven't done a lot of it. So it's not really TV knitting for me. I have to actually sit down and concentrate. But I'm really enjoying it. It's taking a while because it is something that I have to actually think about and concentrate on. I just can't whip it out really quickly. But this is it here. I did kits for this. This is using our Bliss DK base. Now the Bliss DK base has got the cashmere and merino in it, no nylon, and the source for the Bliss DK, it is Australian merino, but we don't know where exactly the yarn comes from, the fibre comes from. It's just picked up everywhere, so I can't say if this is non-mulesed or not. But it is lovely. It's an extra fine merino, so it's very, very soft, combined with the cashmere, which is 20% cashmere, 80% merino, so it's wonderfully soft. I wasn't quite sure if this yarn would work well for Colorwork because it does have a halo. So when you do Colorwork, it's really nice to use fluffy sort of halo-ish yarn. Woolen spun yarn is very good. Is it woolen or worsted? It's the one that's very airy because the yarns interlock really nicely and sort of fuzz up, so it's sort of you don't get a pixelated border. It's sort of nice, sort of fuzzy, non-defined edges of your pattern. Anyway, this has actually worked like that. It's very, very nice. As you can see, it's looking really nice. I did do the Sunset Highway, that was a couple of years ago, and I found with that pattern I had done the floats at the back, but I had actually pulled them a bit too tight, and I think that might have been one of maybe my second Colorwork. Yeah, it is. I think it was like either my second or third Colorwork project, but I hadn't done Colorwork for a very long time, so I for some reason forgot about the floats. And basically you need to make sure that they're nice and loose at the back, otherwise it sort of pulls the knitting in. And if you can see at the top, I pulled the floats a bit too tight up here, and then I realized what I was doing, and I mindfully throughout the rest of the project made sure that the floats were really nice and loose. So by the time I got to this section here, I was sort of evening out a bit better, and here it's just really, really good. I've done a good job here and here down. But anyway, it's fine because once it's finished and it gets blocked, it'll even out the stitches, and luckily it's just up at the yoke, which is a little bit tight. It's not around where the arms or the bust is. So yeah, the colours that I'm using for this, oh god, these are all our new colours as well. It's Blue Moon, I'll take them out, it's probably easier. Blue Moon, Hint, Opposites Attract, and this one is Cloudburst. And yeah, it's basically just a whole heap of blues. This one is a nice little pop because it has the rusty orange in it. So yeah, I probably won't do this super cropped. I don't really like wearing really cropped tops. I kind of feel maybe I'm a bit old for that. I don't know. But I do want it to sit higher than most of my other jumpers and tops. So I bought a pair of high-waisted jeans the other day, and I want to wear this so that it sits just on like the waistline of the jeans, or actually a little bit further, so when I lift my arms up, you know, you're not going to see my stomach underneath. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll keep knitting this, and then when I get to the point where I think it's long enough, I'll try it on with the jeans and yeah, sort of take it from there. Yeah, I think that's everything. I feel like I've just raced through. I probably sped through this really quickly. But anyway, I hope you're all well. I hope I haven't lost you all. Oh, I was going to say, I'm not going to edit these. I'm just going to put it out there. I don't care. If I make a mistake, or if I say something wrong, sorry. I'm not going to edit it out. I probably won't even watch it. I hate watching my own podcast back. It makes me cringe. So what I'll probably do is just upload it and put it on YouTube, and then the links, I don't know if I'll do links all the time. I probably will try. So when you're in YouTube, when you're watching this on YouTube, just down where the comments are, just above that, you can click on that little arrow and it brings down a box, and if I have a chance, I will put links in. But if you want to know what anything is, or what I'm talking about, you can comment below. I'll get the comment and I can point you in the right direction, or you can email me. That's totally fine. Oh, shivers, I did forget one thing. I actually have a finished object. I'll show you this really quickly. So this is the boxy sweater that was in Interpretations by Joji and Vera. It's lovely. If you haven't seen it, which I'm sure you guys have, check it out on Ravelry. It's a whole ebook. They do one every year. We were lucky enough, was it last year, to be involved. They're always beautiful. Photographs are just stunning. The patterns are just amazing. So this is the one that caught my eye. And I now, what's it called? I'm gonna have to look it up. I can't believe I didn't even write it down. Understated sweater. This is the understated sweater. And go back a bit. So it's the V-neck boxy. And I have knit a boxy before. I've knit the worsted boxy and I love it. I wear it every winter. I want to do the fingering weight one because I can wear that a lot more here in this climate. But I knit this with our Bliss DK. This is the Nightshade colorway, and I was a little bit disappointed because down the bottom I was alternating skeins all the way, but for some reason it started pulling even though I alternated. Anyway, what are you gonna do? I mean, it doesn't bother me that much, but yeah, it was sort of working up really nicely at the top, and then all of a sudden it sort of did that. What I could have done is ripped it back to where it started and to do this pulling, like ripped it back maybe to here, and then just pull a strand, like say, you know, a meter off one of the balls, and then reattach it and start knitting, and it probably would have stopped that swirly pattern that you see. But I couldn't be bothered. I just let it do its thing. I knit the small, and I didn't gauge swatch because I thought this has a humongous amount of ease. I don't even remember, it's like 20 inches or something. So there's a lot of ease, and I thought even if it's a little bit over or a little bit under, it's not going to make much difference. The only part you have to be worried about is the arm, because you want to make sure that it fits the top of your arm. But basically my gauge was a little bit, is it under or over? Anyway, it's a little bit smaller than what it should be. So the sleeves are fine, but I didn't, as you can see, it's drop shouldered, so they look really funny, like these tiny little sleeves, but they fit, it sort of fits my arm just like above my elbow. That's where the sleeve starts. But yes, they are, if I had done all of the decreases on the sleeve would have been too tight. So I think I did 4 decreases. I could have gotten away with doing 3 decreases and it would have been fine. And then I just knit a little bit longer than what the pattern says, because I think the pattern, it just comes to below her elbow, but I have actually knitted it, so it's more of a 3/4. And yeah, what can I say? I really enjoyed this pattern. I always enjoy Joji's patterns. They always come together beautifully. What I did really like, which you can't actually see on the jumper itself, or sweater, is she does these really nice short rows. So when it's knit from the top down, so you knit I think you knit the back first, and you're doing short rows across the top, and then you pick up and then you do short rows down each of the sides, and it just makes the top of the pattern, the top of the shoulder curve. When I first started doing the back, it looked really odd, and I thought, I don't know if I'm doing this right, and I read the pattern over and over, and I was going through Ravelry trying to find people's pictures of their whips to see if my shape of the back was the same as theirs. But yeah, it makes sense because it sort of curves in a really odd way. It just looks really strange. And then when you pick up for the shoulder on one side, then you're curving it the other way, and it sort of evens out the shoulder. Anyway, it fits beautifully. It actually, you know how sometimes when you knit top down, the shoulders don't, it kind of hangs off your shoulders, it doesn't fit right? Well, this actually hugs your shoulders, and it just makes the garment fit and look really nice when it's on. So apart from that, I mean, if you're new to knitting, the short rows might be a little bit challenging, but once you get over that, it's just straight knitting the whole way, so it's easy. And I love it. And my mum is actually knitting one as well, so that's really cute. We actually did like our own mini sort of knit along. And she, like I said at the beginning, she's not a experienced knitter at all, and I have actually helped her through some of the pattern, particularly the short row. But yeah, she's doing it quite well. She's enjoying it, so yeah. Anyway, that's all I have for today, and I hope you're all well, and I hope you're still sticking around. Please leave me a comment. I love hearing from you guys. It's nice to know that people actually watch, and yeah, give me a thumbs up if you can. No thumbs down, they make me sad. But yeah, anyway, till next time, and I don't know when that will be, hopefully sooner rather than later. I'll see you then, and yeah, happy knitting, bye.